for staying tuned, and thank you for watching. The program is still CACTV Breakfast Show on channel 614 Moplex TV. Here we are talking about the issues going round in the country. Moving ahead, we have the Nation newspaper. Why strike is illegal? That is coming from the federal government. The government is saying that this strike is illegal, whether illegal or legal. The strike has started already. So there is a case that they must deal with.
You know, they were talking about the federal government, the Attorney General of the Federation was reacting to the National Industrial Act that was signed, and them saying that the Nigerian Labour Congress is not, they are not legally, they're not legal standings on this particular
case.
matter for going on this indefinite strike. But the truth is, legal standing or no legal standing,
what is at stake is beyond beyond what is even what though we are guided by laws, but the heat of the matter on ground.
The primary objective, according to the highest book we have in Nigeria, which is the Constitution, the primary objective of the government is to protect the lives and properties of the people.
Yeah.
So if the people don't feel protected,
of course they will agitate.
You can't feel protected when like over 50% of your salary goes into transportation. Some people is even 8, some people is even 100.
Yeah.
Some people, if not for the fact that they have a partner that also works and earns, they have now splitted their salaries. The husband's salary is for transport for both the husband and the wife. And they know that at month end, this your own salary is what the entire salary is what we are going to share for transport. Then the woman's own is for maybe feeding. So a family that does not have an extra source of income, what about someone that does not have a partner to support him or her? What about someone that, you know, what about those that they only make a living daily? Their living is earned daily. Daily. If they don't step out in a day, if they don't do 1 or 2 things a day, there's no food for them to eat that day. How do they?
Those ones are the market.
Those are the masses we are really talking about. Those are the ones that will feel the brunt of this issue more. Those are the ones that will get into the road.
How do you sell your wares and all?
Those are the ones that will get into the road and increase the crime rate we have in this nation.
But then there's another side of the argument that Labour also should consider, because I don't know why over 4 to 5 meetings now, they cannot reach an agreement. I want the federal government to come up to at least maybe a 200, 150 or 100 thereabout. You understand? And the organized labor also should be willing to make a compromise. You understand? This one that they are saying 497,000 is not feasible.
Well, I keep saying this. Yes, we have all agreed and accepted. We all know it's not a matter of agreeing and accepting. We all know that 494,000 is not it at all. Taking into the consideration the levels, how many levels we have in civil service. If level 1 is going to be taking 495, what will level 17 be taking? So, but that is not a focus for me. The reason why I'm still saying, in all fairness to the Labour Congress, is because they've come out to say, according to their calculations, taking into consideration the cost of living presently in the country, this is what we think a family of 4 to 5 can survive in a month. We get all of that. But the federal government is just coming out to be adding 48,
you know it has been a norm for them to just come out to say this is what we can afford to pay. Maybe they are not used to the system of saying a family of 5 can buy this. They just do it by the percentage, because according to some of the articles that I was able to go through, there is an economist that said that the increase is on a 20.5% that the labor is requesting for, and we already having inflation issues. Should the government even sign something close to that?
The federal government
as minimum wage.
The federal government is saying
you already know that we are going to suffer more when it comes to inflation. There will be more inflation because this money is going back into the society, and we have back for selling for 70,000 naira now. Imagine you are being paid 400,000.
We are in an economy that is all we do in this country is consume from the head to the bottom. All we do, or from the head to the tail, from the top to the bottom, all we do is consume. Every time money is being borrowed from the IMF, from the World Bank, from the African Bank, every time money is being borrowed, it is only for consumption. It is just for consumption. Why is that? I think yes, the labor should not. A lot of people have come out and say the Nigerian Labour Congress, even the federal government has come out to say Nigerian Labour Congress is fighting for its own workers. But they are more concerned about the 200. They say the workers under the Nigerian Labour Congress are about 1.2 million, but they are more concerned with the 200 million Nigerians out there, that if this request from labor is going to affect the generality of the country. But my question to the federal government is, since when did the federal government start defending a cause with the plight of the masses?
They have been doing that.
No, this is where I'm going at. We've seen a lot of policies that has come out. We've seen a lot of spendings, we've seen a lot of earnings. In the last 1 year, since subsidy was removed. In the last 1 year, since we had the unification of the naira, of the exchange rate rather, we've seen more savings. We've seen more money being shared in government. We've seen more internally generated revenue. There's been an increase in that. We've seen all of this. When policies are being made, we hear things like, oh, the people should tighten their belts. We heard all of that. We heard let the poor breathe. We heard these are baby steps of pain. We heard we just have to go on a reset so that we can come back together as a nation, economy wise, you understand. Where I'm going at is this: the federal government, if I am not doubting them, I'm not doubting the position of the federal government. A federal government that is spending over 400 million on street lights. We have a federal government that is spending billions of naira on car parks. We have a government that, with all the money that was spent in SUVs, they are going to be getting new CNG buses in ministry department, and are there not money? It's not money that they're going to use to get those things done.
Getting these things that you mentioned, because
it wasn't disputed.
It wasn't disputed. Yeah.
It was something because according to them, they need the judiciary to function independently. Why can't you also have a people that will also function independently and function properly? I mean, if you have enough savings, a government that has enough savings, a good government that is making more money, it will reflect. Just the way they speak about the Igbo men. They say if an Igbo man has money, it shows in his wife. And I always say this, that the relationship between the Nigerian people and the government is like a husband and wife relationship. So if you have money, let it show in your family.
But we all know that we cannot do anything. It's just like when you want to do things against your economic status, you are actually swimming against the tides of the water, and which is very dangerous. The federal government on their own side, I still maintain my stand that 60,000 is not it at all. They can come up maybe 100 or.
I mean, Edo State gave 70.
Edo State gave 70.
Edo State can give 70. Why can't the federal government?
Edo State gave 70, and this happened with an outgoing leader. You understand? And I believe that he wouldn't have done that if the economy of Edo State is not good enough to do that. He has done. Okay, let's see how it goes when the other person comes. But my point is that we are at a very crucial time in our economy where we have to strive to do a lot of things. The federal government is borrowing. They are looking for means to grow the IGR so that they can have more money to do some things. We see their infrastructural work, even though people are not seeing that. You understand? The student loan on one side is another thing that is functioning, but on this minimum wage, I think that it's just a reasonable act for the organized labor to listen. Now it's not to the plight of the federal government alone, but also to the plight of the organized private sectors who are clamoring that this is not feasible for them. How much do they make? What's their turnover? How much do you expect? Some of these private sectors have over 100 staffs, and how much do they make that you are proposing 494,000, which means that a private sector can pay up to 300 or 250 thereabouts, 200 staff. Do they have that kind of money in their businesses? Have you sat down to talk about that? And that is why I will continue to preach this, reaching a compromise. Okay, we believe that for the nation as organized labor, let's come down to 200. You understand? And the federal government should also reason that okay, 200 is fair. That means that if a state like Lagos can pay the sum of 200, can pay the sum of 150, other states can decide to pay out of the 200 to pay 100, while some other poor states can just pay an 80 or 70 thereabout. There is a state in Nigeria that is paying its primary school teachers 6,000 to 8,000 naira. I found that fact this morning. Is in Borno State, from a good governor as Zulu. You understand? So if there is a state like Borno State, is organized labor thinking all these things through? It's not about the federal government alone, because at the end of the day, when the federal government pronounces or projects a price, it still boils down to the states to start paying these monies. You understand? How many states will be willing? Let's say they just say 200,000. Even if it's 200,000, some states will not even pay. Some states are not paying 30,000. Exactly. So that's the point. That is why I am always clamoring about reaching a consensus. Like let's compromise. What do you think? What do you think is feasible? Give us that price. We don't have to go on strike and make everything so hard for ourselves.
No, I don't think this particular strike is an issue. It's not an issue for me. I think the strike is justified because we have seen a whole lot play out in this country. As the people, we've seen a whole lot.
But whatever the case might be, this strike will only ease the pains of this expatriate committee, because at the end of the day, everybody will be on their toes to make things work now, isn't it? As long as there is a strike.
The federal government has come out to say 60,000 naira is 100% increase from the former from the current minimum wage, which is 30,000 naira.
Let's see what happened to
If you look at the inflation rate, if you look at the inflation rate, you look at the inflation rate, you look at the exchange rate, you look at how far we have come as a nation, you get to realize that the cost of living has increased by over 100%.
Because we are actually experiencing inflation.
Why are we experiencing inflation?
We are not the only country going through that. It's just enough.
It's not a matter. No, this is one
Nigeria
issue.
has been going into inflation since Goodluck Jonathan's era. You know.
This is one. Okay. What was our inflation rate during Goodluck Jonathan's era?
It's increasing.
No. It's not a matter of it's increasing. Of course, every country experiences increase in inflation, especially for a country that wants to upscale. But the pace, the level, the rates at which we have increased, the rates at which the cost of living has increased in Nigeria in the past 1 year has never been seen before. When the former administration was in power, former president Muhammadu Buhari, we had 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari. In the span of 8 years, the amount of increase in inflation and all the things, at least we saw that it was a gradual. It's not like we enjoyed,
at least,
but it was a gradual process. Nigerians were, moving slowly with the pace, slowly stabilizing with the pace. You get
getting used to it and
slowly balancing up. But now
because of the removal of subsidy, everything
exactly. Now you are getting my point. Now this is it. A government that cares so much about its people, like this one does, like this present administration does, a government that cares so much about its people, before the Bible says that show me a man that wants to build a house that does not sit down and make his calculations. Before you come into power, in fact, any presidential, that's why we always hear their what is it called, their manifesto. Yes, their manifesto. That's why we always get their manifestos. So we hear things like that, and you get the federal government coming into power now, saying that coming into power, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to achieve. Of course. Now you sit down, you make your calculations. I once I get into office, I am going to remove petrol subsidy. Once I get into the office, I'm going to unify the exchange rate. There is no effect without cause. Of course. What effect would this have on the people? What effect would this have on the economy? When you make those calculations, and you know fully well that removing this petrol subsidy is going to skyrocket. Devaluing the naira is going to affect the exchange rate, unifying the exchange currency and all of that. Now, a government that knows all of this, what is that government supposed to do? It's not for the government to sit back and say, okay, since this is the effect we're going to have, which is going to be a bit negative on the people, this is what we are going to. We cannot afford not to remove petrol subsidy. We must remove it, right? But it's going to have an adverse effect on the people. How do we help the people face this challenge? How do we support the people? How do we help them that this thing that we are doing now? Because to be quite honest, the people that made money from that petrol subsidy are still people that were in government. The people that ate the money in petrol subsidy are people in government. Okay, now the subsidy is being removed. The effect, those that feel the effect are not those in government, are the masses at home. They are not going, the ones that are buying 1 liter of fuel on a daily basis. Those are the ones that are going to feel this impact. How do we make life easier for them? How do we make life better for them? Do we need to work on okay, since we are going to save money from petrol subsidy, the money we are going to save, let's channel that money into our refineries. Since we are no longer going to be subsidizing petrol, which is also going to affect our imports, let's fix our refineries so that at least there will be fuel in the country, so our people don't have to import, and that way the petrol situation in the country, the cost of it will come down. But are the refineries fixed yet? We are still hearing from them that it's going to be fixed. It has been fixed. It's going to start operation. Okay, that's what we've my goodness. God bless Nigeria. So with all of this, you can't come out and see the same 1 year that you remove petrol subsidy. Nigerians are clamoring for the cost of living. You still brought electricity hike. A lot of people started saying, okay, thank God, even with the electricity hike, the Ministry of Power came out to say that our generation has gotten to 5,000 megawatts, which we are seeing. But at the end of the day, are the people okay? Are the people all right? Are we good? A lot of persons are saying the Nigerian Labour Congress, the strike is actually on on the wrong front. What nobody's saying they should not strike, but what they should strike is for a good living wage, living opportunity, the welfare of the people, a balanced economy. But the truth is, we can't get all of that immediately. It's a work in progress, and that is why I said earlier that whatever the case we might find ourselves now, there is one point standing. This strike is going to change the course of things. It's going to change the event on ground. I know that at the end of the day, both the federal government and the organized labor will reach a consensus, and then we can move ahead. So going to the Nigerian Tribune. Alright, let's have a look at the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. International Bankers Award 2024. Zenith Bank emerges most sustainable bank in Nigeria. Coming from the Rivers State Governor, Timileyin Fubara, I didn't believe I would last 1 month in office. Wow. Congratulations to you, sir.
If you just move on and start giving us things that we want to see.
Focus on the people of Rivers State.
I'm tired of his talk.
Yeah, I mean, let him. He has freedom of speech. Let him speak.
Okay.
Let him speak.
No, you should do this. Maybe he did it
Mining. Mining. Federal government to expand martial corps to 100 per state. Okay, we do hope that would, Minimum wage. National Assembly leaders step in as Attorney General of the Federation declares labor strike illegal. We won't accept starvation wage, NLC President tells Akpabio Abbas. I think that is what it is. That's what it is. How many family can survive a month on 60,000 naira? How would you tell me one full bag of rice is more expensive than an entire family's salary in 1 month?
You are looking at that, and I have said it before that you are looking at one, like it is just one price. The government is seeing it like an increment of salary, so it's two different things. They should sit down and reach. The government is seeing it like you were taking 500,000 before. I want to add like 600,000 for you. Never do you. You don't get where they are coming from. Like we had. You can get that statement that this is a 100% increase from the current minimum wage. They have a valid point there, and the federal and the organized labor is saying, based on what is on ground, your 100% is not enough. So in each of their cases, they have their point valid. What I believe is that they should sit and reach a compromise. There is nothing you want to say. The federal government is the person bearing every economical brunt that they have to bear to make sure that we have a stable economy. The forest is dealing with them. We have seen Cardoso come out with different kind of policies that is not yet working. We see the federal government borrowing, even though I don't really like that aspect of borrowing. But when you check and you hear from